Is the feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump still going? On today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, we'll talk about Kash Patel doing the Joe Rogan podcast, Epstein's attorney speaking out about Donald Trump, and everything else happening in the Elon Musk and Donald Trump battle right now. All that, much more coming up on today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, starting now.
The moment is here. This is our moment.
America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. We're going to dive right into our topics today. Kash Patel did the Joe Rogan podcast. It got released today. They talk about everything with the Trump and Elon Musk feud in the podcast because while they were filming it is when Elon Musk decided to just start tweeting and start going off on his tangent that we talked about yesterday. He said that he is going to decommission the Falcon rocket if the government is cutting the funding for SpaceX. He said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Kash Patel in the interview with Joe Rogan said he didn't want to touch on the stuff with the Epstein files, that he wasn't allowed to because of the ongoing investigation. But he did talk about the COVID origins. He talked about potential investigations that they're looking into, like Biden's auto pen and different things that happened in the Biden administration. They found cocaine in the White House, and we never got an answer to it. We all know it was Hunter Biden who was doing it. Hunter Biden was a literal coke addict. So it only makes sense that the cocaine found in the White House while Hunter Biden was in the White House was Hunter Biden's. It's, again, just 1 + 1 = 2. Democrats hate to do simple math, but it's right there in front of our eyes. They love to just lie to us. They love to spin it, act, oh, it just, a fairy dropped it there. It was Peter Pan. No, it was Hunter Biden's cocaine. Kash Patel and Pam Bondi will be able to confirm that for the future. But the interview was really interesting. I just finished listening to it. I urge all my viewers to listen to it. I'm not going to spoil too much of it. But like I said, they talk a lot about the COVID-19 origins, the Chinese Communist Party, what they think the Chinese Communist Party's end goals are for the United States, why they think they created COVID. A lot of really interesting things about that. I think the COVID stuff they talk about is probably the most interesting part of the interview. Kash is an extremely knowledgeable person. I wish that Kash and Pam Bondi were on the same page about the Epstein stuff. I'm sure at this point they are, but in the past, Pam Bondi has blatantly said to the American people that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, that it was a conspiracy, and then we now have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino saying that Epstein definitely did kill himself, that they even have video evidence confirming he was alone in the cell. One thing that really rubs me the wrong way about that is for the last 6 years or so, however long it's been since Epstein's been dead, we were told that the guards were asleep and the cameras were broken. That's why there was no footage of it and they couldn't confirm it. But now they have camera footage of him in the cell alone. So if the cameras were supposedly broken, how do they have this footage? And if they weren't broken all along, why were we told for years that's what it was? And not that I think this is what's actually happening, but I do think it's a potential possibility. It comes out at the exact same time that AI and AI videos are getting to the point where they're pretty indistinguishable from reality. AI has been ramping up over the last few years, and AI has been getting really good on the editing and video creating side of things. For the last few years, when you'd create videos, you'd always be able to tell, though, if it was AI because there'd be mess-ups with the fingers, their eyes, the way their mouths moves. But now you look at the videos, and they're almost indistinguishable from reality. They don't miss a beat on anything about human characteristics. I'm not saying that they're going to release an AI video when they release this, but the timing of them now saying that they have camera footage after years of them saying that the cameras were destroyed, it's very weird timing to me. I really just wish Kash and Pam Bondi would be on the same page about these things. Obviously, one of them's right, one of them's wrong. Maybe one of them's lying. Maybe one of them is just speaking boldly. I wish that they would get on the same page so that way we don't have two mixed messages coming from the same cabinet. We need a united front from the Trump cabinet. And when Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are giving two different stories, it's the exact opposite. We need more transparency in this country. We need to see the Epstein files for ourselves. And we need a lot more transparency around COVID, around everything that happened with the auto pen and with the cocaine in the White House and all the different things that we've been lied to over the last few years. I think since COVID happened specifically, we live in a whole different world than we used to live in, and trying to navigate that world politically and with the media is extremely hard to know what's true, what's not. Twitter helps a lot with that ever since Elon Musk bought it, because they have fact checking through the community with community notes. It's I think an optimal way to fact check versus just biased fact checkers like they've had in the past. I want to urge all my listeners, though, to listen to that Kash Patel and Joe Rogan interview on Spotify, YouTube, however you listen to it. I think it's a great interview between the two. But to go on to our next topic, I want to stay on topic with the Trump and Elon and Epstein stuff, because I feel like it's the biggest thing happening right now. But Epstein's attorney, Alan Dershowitz, who also represented O.J. Simpson, is now stepping out and saying that Trump is innocent in this, that Elon Musk is just speaking out of school, that he has reviewed every single possible document in all the Epstein cases and files, and he knows for a fact that Trump did nothing wrong in this, and that Trump was actually one of the people helping convict Jeffrey Epstein. I think Alan Dershowitz is a fairly credible source. Obviously, you can't take everything he says as truth, but I do think in this instance it is the truth. I do think that Donald Trump didn't have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein. He flew on his plane, which again, I talked about yesterday, is not a crazy uncommon thing in the private aviation industry. People use each other's private planes all the time. Does not mean he went to the island. Donald Trump is definitely not going to be on the client list. At least I'm hoping, and from my opinion and from what I've seen politically, I don't think he will be. If he is, I definitely had no problem speaking out against him after. I think that's one of the biggest differences between Republicans and Democrats. Democrats pushed back on the Epstein list being released for so long because they knew it would convict people like Bill Clinton and other popular people in the Democratic Party. Republicans, on the other hand, whether they love Trump or hate him, they are saying the same thing. Release the Epstein files. Exonerate yourself, Donald Trump. And if you are on the list, we'll speak out against you. Because guess what? Republicans don't want to protect a pedophile just because he is part of our political party. I'm not saying Donald Trump is a pedophile, and I don't think he is. I can almost guarantee that when the client list does come out, Donald Trump will not be a client of Jeffrey Epstein. The only connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump will be that he flew on his private jet, and that Donald Trump was the one who kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago in 1999 for inappropriate conduct with a waitress. The lawyer is now speaking out saying that Donald Trump was against Jeffrey Epstein since 1999, that they hadn't been close since Donald Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, and even before that they weren't that close. I think the facts are leading towards what I've been saying, that Donald Trump is not going to be on the client list. If he was, it would be a huge shock to me and extremely upsetting for me and a lot of Americans. If you're on that client list, you are the worst people to exist in this world. All the people who will inevitably get revealed to be on that list and be pedophiles, I hope they're able to be prosecuted. I hope we're able to get some death sentences or whatever's necessary to remove all those scums of the earth off the earth. I think if you molested a child, trafficked children, or were involved in that in any way, you are the scum of this earth. Almost all conservatives agree with me on this. I wish all Democrats did, but like I said, Democrats were the one pushing against the Epstein files being released when Joe Biden was president, because they knew it would incriminate people like Bill Clinton and other high-profile Democrats. And I made this argument yesterday. If Joe Biden was sitting in the presidential office for 4 years and Kamala was the VP, and they had a way to put Trump in jail forever, give Trump the death sentence, or turn the entire world against Donald Trump, they would have done it. If they had the smoking gun that Donald Trump was molesting children with Jeffrey Epstein, I promise you, they would have sacrificed Bill Clinton for Donald Trump. They would have released that list already. Donald Trump is not going to be on the list. I can almost guarantee that. Obviously, nothing's 100% Murphy's Law. Anything can happen, but I really don't think it will happen. I want to go on to our last topic, and it's still relating to this, but at some point today, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are allegedly getting on a phone call together to try and hash these things out. I really hope they are able to before the weekend. I hope they're able to repair their relationship. Obviously, it might not be able to be fully repaired. It just matters that they show a united front for the country. I know they don't agree on everything, but they don't need to. That's the beauty of politics. You don't have to agree on everything, but you can work towards compromises that work for the American people and work for the American taxpayer. I'm James Pascalides. This has been episode 64 of America Unfiltered. I'm signing off today. I hope you guys have a blessed day, a blessed weekend, and I will see you guys Monday. Thank you.